This is Jalazun, a refugee camp north of Ramallah that was established in 1949, and one that is run by UNRWA, like so many others in the occupied Palestinian territories.
Here we are at the old market of the Jalazun refugee camp. This is the market that used to be full of tents. This first generation came here, and this is where they started their life as refugees.
With decades of help from UNRWA, Palestinians turned tents into houses. Wissam Ramaha has lived here since he was a child. Life here would be very difficult without UNRWA. It provides many of the basics.
This is the health clinic. It's the only one here. There's no other place in the refugee camp. Elderly people come here and benefit from it. This is where they get all their medication.
Many Palestinian refugees continue to depend on UNRWA for housing, food, water, social services, healthcare and education. If the new Israeli law takes effect, all those services could collapse. Israel says UNRWA workers were involved in the Hamas-led October 7 terror attacks of last year, which left 1,200 people dead in Israel and 250 taken into Gaza as hostages. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the organisation must be held accountable for its part. The accusation against UNRWA prompted many donor countries to pause their funding. That funding resumed after the UN carried out an investigation and UNRWA fired 9 staff members. The Israeli government has not yet said how else it will provide for the millions of Palestinians in the occupied territories, something lawyers say it has to do.
As an occupying power, under international laws of occupation, of belligerent occupation, it has the duty that is basically composed of 3 sub-duties. To provide humanitarian aid, to provide for any goods that the occupied people need for their survival. That means not only food and water, but also medical services, education, electricity. Israel is, as an occupying power, has the duty to provide it itself, to allow international and foreign humanitarian agencies to provide it and to facilitate that provision, and definitely not to hamper humanitarian assistance.
But for many here, banning UNRWA is also about their identity. The UN body was created for Palestinian refugees. Its existence is seen as embodying international recognition of that status. Mahfouz Safi was born a refugee in May 1948, after his family was expelled from what is now central Israel during the First Arab-Israeli War, which saw the establishment of the Israeli state. Palestinians call it the Nakba, catastrophe.
It's a political decision to erase the issue of refugees, specifically the Palestinian refugees. We have the right, according to the existing resolutions of the United Nations, to return to our homeland and establish the Palestinian state based on the partition plan of 1947. And Israel is making every effort to erase or disable UNRWA so that the world forgets that there is a resolution that witnessed the Nakba of the Palestinian people.
UNRWA's work here is now in doubt, and with it the shape of the future for millions of Palestinians who depend on it.